Do your candles ever lie to you? They lie to me. I want to talk about why and how to catch them in the act. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Jimmy. This is Taking Trades. I want to talk more candlesticks. I want to sprinkle in a little bit of volume, and I want to show you two examples of candle trickery that played out today. You have to know when your candles are playing tricks on you. So with that, let's jump in. Okay, let's dive into a few examples here. So I want to talk about when your candlesticks are lying to you, they're tricking you. They're kind of showing you one story, but a whole different story is playing out that you don't even know about, unless you check a few other things. So, for an example, today I was watching SBGI, which is Sinclair Broadcasting Group. I was liking it because I was seeing some RSI action above 70, so I was looking for it to make a crossover and head south and take it short beyond this 9 daily SMA. So as I was watching it, we had this big push up, beautiful pullback, pushed up again, and then this doji came out, and I thought to myself, okay, it looks like we're going to start to roll over. And we never did. And it happened again here, and then it got me thinking this might be a perfect example to continue our discussion about candlesticks, the tricks they can play, and how the only way to unmask them is to look at your volume. So, for example, you look at this candlestick right here, and you see a bunch of volume. Look at that candle that came in. Big volume, more than the previous candle, more than the previous candle, more than the previous candle, even more than any until, back here at 7:42 this morning. So you're thinking, wow, big increase in volume. And the thing that's interesting about this is it's a green candle with a ton of volume. So someone might be thinking, okay, I've got green volume. Maybe this is a good time to go long. Maybe this is a long position because the volume is behind the green. Well, as you look at this, the open on this candle is 56.56. The close is 56.63. So you're talking just 7 cents on the body of this candle. So it's very tiny. So as I was watching this, I thought if it were to go south and set up for me, then this could have been a very confusing thing because it was green. And when people see green with combined good volume, they think that we're healthy to the long side. But what happened here was this was a major attempt to try to go to the short side, but it was masked as just a rest before going long. So if you look at how this closed, if this would have closed 8 cents lower, then this would have been a red dragonfly doji, which is very bearish, combined with a red big spike in volume. So that would have told a much different story. When you think about sentiment, or you think about traders who are watching patterns, who are watching candlesticks, who are watching volume levels, they see a candle like this, and maybe it's even a novice trader sees a candle like this and says, okay, we're still healthy because we're green and we're going to go long. And it ended up working out with this where it did continue to the long side. But the thought I had today was this is masked because if you look at the volume on this candle, you look down here, this candle was 97,000, this candle was 154,000, this candle was 210,000. So it was a big volume spike and it was almost red. This was almost a dragonfly bearish doji with a red volume candle, which could have possibly, if this would have closed red, people who maybe weren't as experienced may have jumped into the short side and actually pushed it down a little bit. So the difference between seeing red and seeing green is just the difference of a few pennies. And I do know some traders who they trade with naked charts with no indicators, and all their candles are all the same color. They don't even give them different colors because they're just watching what the candle's story is telling them. So when you watch this story, you know that because this is pulling back and revealing a taller upper wick, you know that this has selling pressure on top of it, even though it's green. So if you thought, oh, this is green, I'm going to go long, that would have been a bad decision here. Even though it did continue to go to the long side, that would have been a bad decision because you had a big spike in volume, but you had the closing price that was unrealized was slowly drifting down. The sellers were pushing it down, making an attempt to push it south. It didn't work. The sellers didn't win, but it was a definite attempt, and it was masked as a green, voluminous candle with a big bar here, volume bar, to push it what you looks like to the north side, to the long side, but it was in fact disguised because this was a seller's attempt. Then we came across two more candles. We had 56,000 here, so you can see that volume kind of backed off. We came here at 77,000, then we got to 81,000, and then bam, we hit here again, 245,000. If you look right down here, look at this, 56,000, 77,000, 81,000, boom, 245. Another huge volume spike, and it's green again. But this one's even more severe because the opening price is 57.09 and the closing price is 57.10. The body of this candle is 1 penny. So if this would have been 1 penny or 2 pennies lower and closed, this whole bar would have lit up red, this candle would have been red, and it may have changed the sentiment of the traders watching this. They may have said, oh, it's red now, we might be going south. So you can see how psychologically the color of the candles can really dictate how people feel about the current condition of the stock. Now this did continue to go long, but an entry here would have been a very bad idea. If you were thinking about going long on a candle like this just because it was green and just because it had volume, it would have been a bad decision because I really thought this was going to go south, and a lot of times they do. Sellers will make a big attempt, knock it down a little bit, and then all it needs is just a few more to pile in to help push it south. So these were just two really interesting examples of sellers attempting to beat up a stock and push it to the short side. They were both failed attempts, but they were masked. You looking at this, someone who just sees green might think long. They see this volume spike, they're like green, 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 green. It's all long. Everything's good. Let's go long. But you're not looking at the story that the candle's telling you, which is the unrealized closing price slowly drifted back down and closed with a very small body, revealing a tall upper wick. Another tall upper wick, or sometimes they call it an upper shadow. When you get this, this is seller's pressure. If you're long biased and you want to go long on this stock, you do not do it here because those volume spikes of 210 and 245,000, those were attempts by sellers to push it to the short side. They both failed, and I think the stock, because of these things, popped up, rolled over, and then just sat flat the rest of the day. It was just a major struggle and battle between the shorts and the longs all day. But those were two great examples. I thought I would show those to you guys. It's just a way to help you keep out of trouble. You always look at that volume, and then when you know the volume, you ask yourself, whose volume is it? Is it the long side or is it the short side? And the way you can find that out is by looking at the candle and asking the candle, what story are you telling me right now? Is the closing price drifting to the short side significantly before it closes, or is it pushing up to the long side before it closes? Those are questions to be asking yourself. Now, a candle like this in any one of these two places, that's a whole different story because it's a big voluminous candle that's all green and it's got a nice closing price up high. It moved up the whole time basically, whereas this moved up real hard and then got slammed back down to close. This one moved up real hard, then got slammed back down to close. So they're just something you have to keep your eye on when you're thinking about candlestick shape and size and then volume that's behind it. You just got to be asking yourself these questions all the time. And I avoided both of these. I didn't get involved at all in here. And I actually didn't even take a trade today. So I have no trades to show, just a couple examples on these candlesticks. So anyway, I hope you all had a green day. Leave comments below. Let me know how you did. Ask me questions about candlesticks. I love talking about them. Let's talk volume as well. And we'll be back at it tomorrow morning. Thank you.